In his customary fashion, he segments society into three archetypes: heroes, everyday individuals, and ne'er-do-wells. Yet, the narrative reveals an intricate truth. Not every hero embodies virtue, nor can one assume that all ordinary souls are, in fact, unremarkable. The military personnel congregated beneath a grand banner, emblazoned with the likeness of a man who once heroically rescued a child from the clutches of flames. Yet, the reality is that villains, too, may not be entirely malevolent. Nonetheless, the prevailing sentiment often diverges, leading to the inevitable inquiry: who is he? A smirk danced upon Sangan's lips, for he had no reservations in declaring, without question, he is a villain. After a brief interlude, Sub extended his hand, probing into the unfolding situation. Mina, casting a sidelong glance, inquired about the circumstances at hand. Sanan, echoing her curiosity, asked, "Where are we?" Chanak, stepping into the limelight, gestured reassuringly, "Please, remain calm." Yet Sub, incensed, interrupted with a vehement shout, "Calm?" He seized Chanak's shirt, giving him a slight shake. Sub's impatience swelled as he questioned whether Chanak was colluding with the abductors. Mina and Changan exchanged bewildered glances. Chanak, his demeanor subdued, sighed as he grasped Sub's hands, delivering a swift knee to his midsection, prompting a yelp from Sub. "What an imbecile!" he cried, clutching his abdomen. Chan Sak, extending an olive branch, introduced himself as Kim Chan Sck, declaring his shared ignorance of their predicament. He urged caution against hasty judgments. Sub, dismissive, swatted Chanak's hand away, doubting the credibility of his claims. Chanak, scrutinizing Sub with intensity, remained silent. At that moment, the protagonist approached and introduced himself as Yu Sanghan. Mina, stepping closer, placed her hand over her heart. "I am Mina." Sub, scratching his head, asked, "What in the world is happening?" He identified himself as Shin Pab. Suddenly, a system notification materialized before Sangan, announcing the initiation of a quest, denoted as a tutorial with an introductory phase in progress, offering rewards of glory and more. Mina, waving her arms in disbelief, questioned if she was alone in witnessing these bizarre occurrences. Sub rubbed his eyes, exclaiming that it felt like a nightmare, as if he had overindulged the previous night. Mina, seeking clarity, asked if everyone could indeed see the quest interface. Chanak leaned against the wall, pondering the peculiar situation, suggesting that dialogue was necessary. Sub's temper flared, demanding to know why Chanak was assuming a leadership role. Mina interjected, urging them to focus on unraveling the mystery rather than squabbling. Sub clenched his fists, exclaiming in indignation at being challenged by a mere schoolgirl. The protagonist thought it prudent to maintain a lower profile. Sub turned, his irritation palpable, questioning, "What did you say, you fool?" Sanghan gestured behind them, urging, "Look." In the shadows, a dilapidated wooden door trembled as a zombie emerged, its grotesque grin stretching wide as it advanced, emitting a blood-curdling scream. Sub recoiled, raising his hand defensively, exclaiming, "What fresh horror is this?" Mina, horrified, clutched her head, crying out in despair. The system window ominously declared this to be a quest of survival, kill and escape, an imperative to elude the grasp of those beset by malevolent spirits. Sub, overwhelmed, screamed again, another ghastly quest. Mina collapsed to her knees, pleading for understanding of what was expected of them. Chan Sak urged calm, drawing attention to the system's guidelines. Survival would be measured after a 24-hour duration or upon being the last standing. Kills would be counted upon vanquishing all evil spirits, and escape would only be recognized upon discovering an exit, whether real or imagined. Chanak insisted that panic was unwarranted, while Sanghan meticulously adjusted his hair, maintaining silence. Sub's voice rose in protest, incredulous that Chanak could retain composure amidst such chaos. Mina, exasperated, shouted for an end to the squabbling. Observing the door being battered, Chanak declared they must fortify their defenses. At this rate, the zombies would breach their sanctuary. The creature smashed through, extending its gnarled hand, howling ferociously. Chanak, fists clenched, charged forward, striking the abomination and sending it staggering back. Observing the weakened foe, he resolved to gather resources. "Together, we can defeat it," he urged, and Mina echoed, "Weapons." Meanwhile, a surveillance camera discreetly captured the unfolding drama, transmitting live footage to observers seated at a formidable console. One sipped from a steaming mug, querying whether the event had commenced. The second confirmed, indeed, the tutorial is underway. The elder observer mused, acknowledging their peculiarity. In the midst of the chaos, Shanik delivered a fierce elbow to the zombie's face as Mina seized a pipe, advancing towards the creature. The elder remarked that he was perplexed by the rapid escalation of events. He inquired about the anomaly of the blonde youth, noting that Shin Piabi awoke before the others, swiftly grasping the system's mechanics while feigning ignorance. The elder chuckled, cunning, very cunning indeed. He then scrutinized Kim Chang-sik, recognizing the rarity of individuals possessing innate skills at the outset. How fascinating, he mused, noting that B-rank participants were seldom observed at such early stages. The screen displayed Kim Chang-sik's attributes, indicating his status as a B-rank leader with minimal hand-to-hand combat proficiency, while Mina's skills in swordsmanship were similarly low. The elder noted the potential of these individuals, contemplating whether they might be the first to triumph in the tutorial. The younger observer regarded the exchange with skepticism, narrowing his eyes. Suddenly, an unsettling turn of events unfolded as a shard of the door lodged itself in Chanik's neck, blood oozing forth. The protagonist reacted swiftly, extracting the splinter and apologizing profusely. Mina, gripped by terror, began to scream, "This is a nightmare. It has to be." Sangun stood beside her, a piece of the door in hand, while she continued to wail, "Nightmare." In a shocking twist, the protagonist used the shard to end Mina's suffering, her body collapsing as crimson pooled around her. Sub, paralyzed by fear, questioned Sangun's actions.